I think if people want to have, so at the end of the day, it all goes down to what are you trying to achieve?
Yeah.
What is the goal here? Is the goal
Right.
to have sexual pleasure? Is the goal to please your partner? Is the goal to receive, like for your partner to please you? Like that's what we need to be talking about here. Those are bigger conversations that people don't want to talk about, and they
Right,
rather
facts.
just go to the easy, well, I ain't like it because his dick was small. Like that's the easy way out.
Yes.
The harder thing is to say I was not satisfied in this sexual encounter because of X, Y, and Z.
Yo, you are not prescribed with the realest, where we say the things your friends won't say and your man gonna lie about. It's your boy, Dewey Rice. We're back in the office, y'all. We back here in the building. Today, I am sitting with a very, very, very special guest. I know I always say I'm sitting with somebody special, but today I'm really sitting with somebody special. I'm sitting with a doctor, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, my name is Dr. Ashley Towns. What do you need me to say?
Just say anything. You know what I'm saying?
What's up?
What song are you feeling right now?
What song?
Yeah, what song?
What's poppin'?
What's popping? Okay,
Yeah.
I like that. I like that. So she just got off a road trip, y'all. So she said she was listening to a lot of music. So I was like, okay. She said, what's popping?
What's poppin'?
Got you. Okay, I'm feeling like, so while I was waiting, you know what I'm saying? I was feeling a little brandy, a little, I want to get down, sitting in my room, you know what I'm saying? Them two songs I was really rocking with. So that's how I'm feeling right now, you know what I'm saying? So look, y'all. All right, the website dropped. The merch is here. We actually have some merch with us right now. But the merch is here. The website dropped. I want to say thank you to everybody who, you know what I'm saying, tapped in with me, already made purchases. You can make purchases on the website. I'll let y'all know that at the end. But Miss Ashley, guess what we about to do? We're about to go into the waiting room, all right? So the waiting room, we play a little game just to get comfortable and let the viewers know a little bit about you, all right? So since we're talking all things sex and intimacy, today what we're going to do is play a game called Facts or Cap, all right? So facts or cap. You know how they be like, no cap, like cap mean lying and stuff like that. So facts or cap. I'm going to read you off a sexual myth, and then you give me your opinion. You can give me if it's a fact or cap.
Okay.
All right? So first one. Masturbation is bad for you. Facts or cap?
Cat.
Cap. Why?
Because masturbation has a lot of health benefits. And
Okay.
it's a stress reliever.
Okay. Quick. All right. Bet. All right. The bigger the penis, the better the sex. Facts or cap?
Cat.
Tell me why.
Because a vagina is a different size. So the bigger the penis could mean more pain.
Okay. All right. I was, as a man, you always be wanting to like feel like you got the biggest dick in the room. So I know that myth has definitely traveled. It's definitely traveled. So the next one. A woman cannot get pregnant if her and her partner practice the pull-out method. Facts or cap?
Read it one more time.
A woman cannot get pregnant if her and her partner practice the pull-out method.
Cap.
Cap.
You
gonna tell us why?
Well, that one depends. Let me say that one depends.
Okay.
Because the pull-out method can work
Okay.
if someone is tracking their fertility. But if you're not and you're just doing it on a whim every
Gotcha.
time, then yeah, you could get pregnant. So I'm going to say it depends on if the person is aware of how to track their fertility or their ovulation.
Got you.
If they're young and not paying attention and they don't really care about any of that, then they need to not do that.
Do not do it. Would you recommend,
Regularly.
if somebody did not like condoms, would you recommend them use the pull-out method?
If they didn't like condoms,
Yes.
would I would not. Professionally, I would not recommend it.
Professionally. I like that. I like that. All right, you got two more. All right. So, condoms take away the feeling and the pleasure of sex. Cap or facts?
Cap.
Cap. Why do you believe that? Because I personally,
They take away the feeling.
yeah.
No, there's so many different types of condoms. So there are condoms that have lubrication that
Okay.
will add the feeling. There are very thin condoms that will like feel as if you're not wearing one. So
Got you.
I'm gonna say cap on that one. Now I will say you need to pick a condom that you like.
Okay.
So you can't just pick. Magnum or whatever type of brand just because it's popular in your friend circle or in your peer group.
Yeah.
You kind of need to shop around a little bit.
I think that happens a lot. Like I remember in high school, like, you always heard Gold Pack. Like if you don't have a Gold Pack, you don't got a Trojan.
Not everybody can fit a Gold Pack.
And that's the T.
Condoms have a size.
Yeah, that's the T.
Pick your size.
That's the T. Okay. All right, last one. This is a good one. Sex is only good if you have an orgasm. Facts or cap? Cap. You ain't fucking with it? Go ahead. Tell me why.
So the reason why I say that is because sex should be pleasurable the entire time with or without an orgasm. An orgasm is pleasurable. It definitely something, if you want to have an orgasm every time, you should go for that.
Yeah.
But that just because you don't have an orgasm, you shouldn't shame that sexual experience to thinking it was negative or not pleasurable.
Okay.
That's my rationale.
I like that. No, I like that because so women be like, well, I'm in I have a lot of female friends, right? So the big thing, they be like low key lying. Like when they don't get off, they'll still tell their man that they got off or whoever they're involved.
Is not good.
You know what I'm saying?
Don't fake.
So don't fake at all.
No.
Don't fake to say nobody's feelings.
No, don't fake.
See, we don't have enough of these conversations. We don't have enough of these conversations. So you said don't do it at all. Just
no. To me, okay. So I'm gonna say I think, and I'm gonna talk about this later. But
let's get it.
People who fake orgasm, and men do it too.
We do. I've done it.
I definitely think that it is an ego issue on both sides, and it can also be a lack of sexual communication on both sides. So if you don't know how to tell the person, like, I didn't really come, but I think you need to change the conversation. Coming should not be the end result of a sexual encounter. So coming is a part of the sexual encounter, but that should not be the reason that you're having sex. Like sex should be pleasurable from start to finish, whether an orgasm happens or not, whether 5 orgasms happen or not. So we need to. We're gonna
get into it. All right, so you did really good. So basically, you said all of it is cap. Like you're not fucking with all of it. I mean, you said a couple of them was like here and there, it depends. But yeah, most of it was cap.
I think most of them are myths or not really things that we should continue to pass those messages down.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna let the myths go. We're gonna get into some real information today then. All right. So we're gonna move into the office and Miss Dr. Ashley Towns. Can you tell us a little bit about what got you started?
Sure. So I have a bachelor's degree in health promotion and education, a master's degree in public health, and a doctorate degree in health behavior and epidemiology. So what got me started really was in college. I was like a peer educator. So I would educate college students about different topics. And sexual health was the one that was very interesting to me. A lot of people didn't know, like all these myths you just read.
Right.
A lot of people thought all of these different messages, or they thought they knew it all. Right. And they really didn't know anything. Like I would give information and they would be surprised at the information. And my career just kind of like took off from there. I've done a lot of different things in public health. And now I do sex research. I have done sex research for several years. I've taught human sexuality to college students for several years. And even though I don't teach anymore, I'm still learning and keeping myself up to date because I realize a lot of millennials, especially Black millennials like us, we don't have that information. And when we graduate college, where are we going to get it?
No, facts.
So I like to provide information to people like us and younger so that they have access to good information rather than waiting to go to their doctor once a year to get it.
Facts.
Or Googling something and not knowing if it's good information.
Because Google will lead you all the wrong way.
And sometimes Google is good, but not everybody is trained to vet out what's good information and what's not. Yeah. So I try to just provide that to people, for free, easily. Like you can just have a person that you trust and they're going to give you good information.
Absolutely.
So that's what I do.
I like that. And so you know what? That's why I really brought you on the show, because I'm like, we don't have enough of these conversations. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Enough of these conversations in our group chats, with our boys, with our women, with our friends. We don't do this enough. And honestly, we're not as transparent as we should or could be. And I think that's like a barrier we need to break within our community. And speaking of Black community. So Speaking of this, to prepare for the show, I made the little flyer, you know what I'm saying? I put it on social media. A lot of people did not respond on social media, which I understand. But then, I'm like, I'm gonna be more intimate and send it in my friend groups, right? So like my group chats with the boys and everybody else. So it just blew me how no knock to nobody, right? But it just blew me how I sent this flyer and like people were not. They just weren't getting it, I guess, like the niggas. Like, we was in a group chat, and they were just sending outrageous questions that I'm just like it was funny stuff, like, why do women run from dick? And I'm like, okay, you know what I'm saying? I feel you, but I'm not really feeling you, you know what I'm saying? And also, it was crazy that a lot of men don't have these conversations. Because we really think we putting it down in the bedroom, and we really not. We really not. And it's so weird that we're not having these real transparent conversations. So today, y'all, what we did was I got a whole bunch of questions that we're going to filter through. And Ashley said if we don't get to the ones that people have sent in, she will, because it is sexual health month. Yeah, sexual health month. So she will definitely be plugging them on her social media. And she'll tag me. We'll put them on my social media as well. So are y'all ready for this? Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
It's some good questions.
Let's go.
So we're going to talk out of the prescribed, the realist. It's called the realist on the website. The realist hat. It's the realist trucker hat, y'all. All right. So me and Ashley are going to filter through questions. And we here to see what you got to say. All right.
Let's go.
All right. First one. I'm going to let you pick the first one. Ladies first.
Okay. Oh, it's a big one.
It's a big one. Okay.
All right. So what would you suggest if your man tells you that he's not attracted to the look of your vagina? This is a good question. And I'm so glad that somebody sent this in because, so I'm going to do a quick little plug.
Got you. Let's go. Plug it.
So one thing that I didn't mention that I do, aside from my regular job and in educating y'all, I write blogs for Pure Romance, which is a sex toy company based out of Cincinnati, Ohio. They sell a lot of different types of products, from lubes to vibrators, dildos. They also do like lingerie and other like shaving creams, things like that. So a lot of sexual health products, but they're also really big on sexual health and sexual wellness. And I'm working with someone to write an article about vagina diversity. Okay. What that means is that everybody's vagina doesn't look the same. Everybody's vulva doesn't look the same. So your lips, the color of it, the shape of it, none of that looks the same from woman to woman, or I would say person to person who has a vagina, right? Yes. So what would I suggest if your man tells you he's not attracted to the look of your vagina? I would ask, like, well, what is it about it that you're not attracted to? Like, is it the shape? Is it the color? Is it the smell, which it shouldn't really have any like foul smells or anything like that?
Talk about that.
If you're, practicing good hygiene and getting tested for STIs regularly, as you should every 3 months.
I know that's right. Soft plug, another soft plug. Get tested.
Or with every new partner. So, I mean, honestly, I would just be like, well, why not? Like, what is it? What is it about it that you don't like? What have you seen either on other people or in, sexually explicit magazines? Like, what have you seen that's attractive? Is it the pubic hair? Is it, like, what is it? And honestly, like, I think you should have a conversation about what his dick look like. So, like, what? That's facts. Like,
no, it is facts.
This can't be a one-sided conversation where you're coming at me about what you like and don't like about my vagina, and I'm not coming at you of what I like and don't like about your dick or your penis, your dick. Whatever.
Yeah, you don't got no veins. You don't got. Yeah.
So I mean, like, I think that this is a good conversation to have, but I would just be curious to know, like, the intent behind the question. Like, what is it about? Is it? I mean, this says attracted, but like,
are we really looking at it to like
to be attracted? Like what is this? Where is this coming from?
But I mean, do you think that people can get pleasure out of looking at a vagina? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, definitely, especially. I mean, they can. They definitely can. I mean, everybody's sexual attraction or sexual desires are different, and what someone finds attractive may not be attractive to someone else. So if this person does find some sort of pleasure or excitement in the look of it, some things you cannot change about your vagina, but some things you can. So if it is pubic hair, for instance, and he wants you to, have pubic hair or shave or wax or whatever, and you don't want to do that, then that is your body. You can say, I don't want to do that. But if it's the other way around, or if there's something about, the way, it was made. Like, like there's,
yeah.
I mean, some things you just can't change and you shouldn't have to.
That's
So,
facts.
I mean, I would just get down to the bottom of, well, what is it that you don't like?
Right.
And if there's not things that you can change about it,
Leave that
then,
nigga.
I mean, like
leave that nigga.
you may have to move on from that relationship, or you may have to engage in sexual activities where he's not looking at it.
Facts. Okay.
So
Fuck with it. I fuck with it, y'all. All right. So next one. Let's get it. If a person is having a sexual encounter with multiple people, are they required to disclose this to their partner? Especially if they're in an exclusive relationship.
Oh, so like if you have like partners outside of your relationship,
So
are
they
they
disclose this.
required?
Yeah.
Required is a strong word. I mean, there's definitely such a thing as polyamory, which means that people are in more than one relationship at the same time. However, they do consent to all of those relationships, and most often they do tell those other partners that they are with them. If you're in an exclusive relationship with someone and you have other partners, then you're not in an exclusive relationship. So you need to rethink how you're defining your current relationship.
Facts.
Because you're not exclusive. You're stepping outside of that. If you openly want to have an open relationship where you have more than one partner and you and your current partner agree to that, that is another relationship structure, meaning open relationship or polyamory. So I think it really just depends on why are you doing it?
Right.
If you like to have your cake and eat it too, that's probably an issue because you're not giving that other person a chance to even be aware of that. Therefore, that person can't be protected from, certain infections.
Yeah.
They don't know what you're doing behind their back, and that's not fair to them. So I'm not gonna say it's required, but it's the
right thing
it's
to
the
do.
considerate thing to do is
For
to
sure.
tell them well, I'm interested in having sex with other people. How do you feel about that?
Yeah.
Do you still want to be with me or not? And if they say nah, then that's over.
that
Go be with
happen.
those other people.
For sure. That's facts. So for you and having all this knowledge in your field, how is it with relationships for you? Does it have a barrier or oh, you laughed? Well, I'm a little nervous. Why you laugh?
So I get this question all the time.
Because I like the knowledge. You sounded very knowledgeable, very emotionally aware.
All the time.
Why you laughing?
Honestly, it makes talking about these types of things so much easier.
Really?
Because up front they know this is what I do. So you can't
play you at all.
You can't I'm gonna ask you, and I'm a very blunt person anyway.
Yeah.
So if I have a question, I'm gonna ask you.
Okay.
So we need to talk about this.
Yes.
Or what do you think about this? Or can you rate X, Y, and Z from a 1 to 10? I need to know. Did you not like?
You want to know everything. So you're talking about so that's a good thing. So
and I think that when it comes to sexual communication with a partner, it actually can increase your sexual experiences with them because once you start talking about things that you maybe have never talked about with any other partner, with one person, and they can come to you freely and vulnerable about those things, what they like, what they don't like, what they've tried, what they want to try. Would you be open to it? No, I'm good on that, but I would do that. They feel more comfortable with you and more safe with you. And then those sexual experiences are enhanced because you feel so much closer to that person.
I feel like that connection is deeper too.
It's more intimate.
Definitely. And I think I found myself in a couple situations where when I'm the most comfortable with her, I think the sex just bangs better. Not even bangs, but it just go crazier. You know what I'm saying? So we can go to the next one. That's cool.
Yeah, I definitely would agree with that. Let's see. What are some ways we can educate our children and the new generation about sex? Ooh, I get this question often too. So I say all the time, start early, start educating them early. If they're already, 7, 8, 9, and you didn't start earlier, I feel like there's never a hard time or a bad time to start educating them. I don't care if they're a teenager and you didn't tell them anything before. I don't care if they're 3. You can start, and the ways that you start is by doing things that are age appropriate. So when they start asking questions, give them the real answer. Don't name their body parts, your pee-pee and your cuckoo. No, let's stop all of that.
Yes.
Okay. Because the reality is that as they get older and they start learning other names from their peers, now when they go into the doctor, they feel uncomfortable because the doctor is calling their genitals, their breasts, and their penis and their vagina, and they've never used those words before.
Right.
So now they're maybe self-conscious, well, what body part are they talking about?
Yeah.
Or if there's ever any encounter with like sexual trauma or some sort of like negative experience, if a child is calling their genitals by some other name, they're not able to accurately describe where on their body something is happening. So, and we don't talk about childhood trauma enough, and I'm not going to sit here and talk about it, but it's really important that kids understand what their genitals are, where they are, and how they work. Right. It's also really important that children understand babies don't come out of your belly. You know, they didn't just, somebody didn't just drop them off. You didn't just go to the hospital and get them. No, they came out of a vagina, right? Yeah. So just tell them, how did it happen? From sex. Mommy and daddy had sex, or mommy and daddy love each other. Like, you can make it appropriate.
I'm about to say, you don't think that's inappropriate though for like ages 7, 6, you know what I'm saying?
If they're learning it in the home from their parents, I don't think it's inappropriate, because you know why? You send your kids out into the world, to school, to strangers, to teach them about math, science, reading, English. Why are you not teaching them about their bodies in your home? You want someone else to teach it to them in a health class in 5th grade? Or
that's where I learned about STIs.
That's like to me, that is crazy.
Yeah.
Like, your parents teach you how to brush your teeth, how to put on your clothes, how to wipe yourself when you're potty training. They teach you how to tie your shoe. They should be teaching you about sexual health, and not just sex, sexual health, menstrual cycles, puberty. Like, that should be a part of the same conversation, because if not, what's going to happen, and I wrote an article about WAP, is what's going to happen is they're going to see the WAP video, or they're going to hear it on the radio, and they're going to be like, wet and gushy, and they ain't even going to know what that is.
Facts.
You know, because they got the edited version. It's already on the radio. So do you want your 6-year-old singing wet and gushy, talking about WAP, and you're like looking at them like, what you know about that?
I'm a bad
they
mom,
actually don't
dad.
know about it. So that's even an opportunity to sit down and say, okay, this song was actually made for adults.
Right.
This is not really kid appropriate. And this is why.
Yeah.
Because she's talking about her genitals for an adult person.
Yeah.
Like,
because I can even think back on some of the songs I used to rap and sing, and now, like, 90s songs, 2000 songs.
Pony by Genuine.
You know what I'm saying? And really, like, I was really feeling that song as a kid. And why am I feeling this song when I don't even know what's really going on or what's happening? So when was the first time your parents had a conversation with you?
Never.
Never? Or y'all didn't talk about it?
We didn't. The only thing my mom talked to me about was birth control. And I was like, I don't even know how to have sex. Like, so I definitely don't know how to get pregnant.
Yeah.
And to me, it was very like, I'm going to put you on birth control because I don't want you to have kids. And I was like, I don't even know how to have kids.
Right.
Like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Like,
okay.
What would I do? Like, I don't even know. And I think we may have had a conversation about like using pads versus tampons when my menstrual cycle came. Like, that was it. I didn't get anything. And to me, that was so like unfortunate, because when you start taking health classes and stuff, and they're telling you, they're showing you all these nasty, crazy diseases and stuff, you're like, what is that? Like,
no, that's what I remember.
Like, if it's so bad, then why are people doing it? Like, how was I born? If you gonna get one of these and die, like, that can't be true. So I think kids are smart enough to understand information and process it and make decisions. I think parents are just afraid to give them that power.
Information. Okay. Oh, I got you. All right, next one. Let's see. Why does getting your ass ate feel so good?
Because there's nerve endings around the anus, just like there are in the clitoris, just like there are at the top of the penis or the head of the penis. And so when those nerve endings are stimulated, it provides pleasure. So our nerve endings give us either pleasure or pain, depending on how they're stimulated, what temperatures they're being exposed to. And so that is why that pleasure feeling is theirs, because there's tons and tons of nerve endings in and around the anus.
Okay. All right. Because I was going to ask you this. So I remember you was at our show. So actually, I was on a previous podcast, like people will know that listen to the show. And we had a love show, and we had a love event. And Ashley came, and she was the sexpert for the event. So at the end, she spoke, and women were really... I think they were hurt by the fact that you said there was no G-spot. And so I was going to ask, is there a G-spot in the anus? Is there a G-spot in the anus, or is still enough?
And so, okay, let me just go back to the G-spot. So
people were so upset, y'all. They were so upset.
And I know people, sex educators, who still talk about the G-spot, and they don't call it a G-spot anymore. They have since started calling it a G region. or a G area.
Okay, haven't heard that.
I still don't like that, and I still don't support that. And the reason why is because, number one, the G spot was named after a man, and he came up with this spot or area or region that you're supposed to reach, and it is going to provide you with, a enormous amount of pleasure.
Right.
This was before the clitoris. Like, the clitoris is internal and external. People think the clitoris is just this one little spot on the outside that you can see, but the clitoris is actually internal. It is actually pretty wide. I'll actually have to send you a picture to post.
So you're saying it's inside and outside?
Yeah, it has like they're kind of like little wings that come down, and so different areas or different positions. Yeah, different area, kind of like what is that? The thigh. So like if you flip that upside down and take the top off, that's kind of what the clitoris is shaped like. So it has like a middle and it has two sides, right? And then it has the top that you can see on the outside.
Exactly.
And so when it's being stimulated from different positions or different angles, all of that is causing pleasure internally, as well as it can be stimulated externally on the outside. So there's areas inside of there that people think are the G spot, but I have read the research. Like, there has been a lot of research over the last decade from different types of medical researchers, neurologists who study nerves, like all of these different people. They have used, people when they pass away, they've used their bodies and have cut them open and looked to see where is it,
right? And
they have not found it.
Okay.
And so just like our other body parts, I have two eyes and a nose, you have two eyes and a nose.
Facts.
So if I have a G spot, somebody else should have a G spot, and the next woman should have a G spot. Like, it should be a common thing that we all have. That's not true.
Okay.
If most people can't find it, it's because it ain't there. Okay? Like, it shouldn't be that I can find it, but I can only find it one time, once a year, with one partner. You can see your clitoris every single day.
Facts.
Correct?
Facts.
Your dick is going to be there every single day.
Facts.
You got two balls underneath it.
Right.
If the G spot was there, it would be there for every single person every single time, and you shouldn't have to dig and find and twist your leg like this, dig your fingers up,
turn to the left. Yeah. It's a no for you.
And that's why people call it a GPS, like the G spot. And I'm
because you got to find it.
Why you gotta find it? And if it's that difficult to find, why is it this magical place? No,
Facts.
No, stick to the clitoris.
Okay, yeah, that made you hot.
Because I get sick of that. Okay. How important is it to abstain from sex in your single seasons? Oh, I have done this.
Okay.
So I think that one is going to depend on like who you are as a person, maybe why you're choosing to abstain, maybe for spiritual reasons or maybe just personal reasons. I have definitely had several seasons of my life where I just felt like I want to abstain to just really focus on me, to, get closer to God, to, like not deal with, I was going to say F boys.
These niggas. You can say these fuck boys. You don't want to deal with them no more. It's okay.
To not deal with other people's baggage. I'm going to put it like that. To not deal with other people's baggage without tending to my own.
Okay.
And to me, like when you are having sex with a person, you are taking on a lot of things going on with them.
There it is.
Because you are trying to be close to them. It's like your friend circle. Like when you talk to your friends on a regular basis, you take on, like they dump on you, whether it's intentional or not. And when you're in a relationship, whether it's casual or long-term, you take on things that they're dealing with and they take on things you're dealing with. And sometimes you're not in a place where you can do that.
Facts.
And if you think you can just have sex and have no feelings, that's a lie.
Thank
There
you.
is no such thing as friends with benefits with no attachment.
Well, okay, no, I ain't gonna go back and forth with you on that. You're right. But in my young season, as a younger dude, I thought that it was until I started to learn more. So I'm gonna let you go ahead, keep going, because she got real stale in face and everything. She was ready. She was ready. Nah,
but I think that's true.
Growing up at like younger, we thought that we could just sleep with her and everything just be cool and there would be no emotional connection.
And you know why? It's because you have movies like Friends with Benefits. Yeah. You have movies like Booty Call.
Right.
You have movies, that talk about and show you supposedly how to go about doing that. And what happened in all of the movies? They end up falling for the person.
For sure.
Every movie that you see where they started out as friends and they were like, oh no, it's going to be fine.
Real easy,
we're not going to fall in love with each other.
Yeah.
What happens? One of them ends up liking the other person, even though they agreed to not do that. So even in the movies, which are fake because somebody wrote the script, okay? They're not real. They're fake people that someone is paying to play that role.
Right.
But even in those, at the end of the movie, it always is the same storyline.
They do end up falling for the person. You're right.
So that's not a real thing. I think people go into it thinking, I can handle it.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
mature.
That's what it is. Yeah, that's
right?
it. That's
I ain't going to fall for this person.
Until that third, fourth
And
time,
then even if it's not the first, even if it's not that first person that you're friends with benefits with or whoever, it may be the second person. Like, well, I was able to handle that person, but the second where you're not, you fall hard.
Exactly.
And then it's hard for you to recover. And so then you go into this like spiral of doing that with multiple people, and both of you are getting hurt.
Yeah.
And that's trauma that you have to then heal from later when you're ready for a long-term relationship.
Nice,
so
facts.
No.
So preparing for this episode, you know what I'm saying? I went on ahead and researched a couple things like soul ties. So when we were talking about this, it made me think of it. And I actually, my friends here, you know what I'm saying? My little crew's with me. We was talking before you came to prep. And one of them said that she really feels like you can have sex with anybody and come and go, whatever. And I'm like, I respect what you're saying, but after reading about soul ties, I'm really not believing that anymore. I was there at a point in my life. Don't get me wrong, but I do feel like there has been instances where I have had sex with somebody, and then like the next couple of days would just be weird. Like it'd just be like I'd be heavy for what reason I don't know. But now after reading it, they say it's a soul tie. And like, so tell me a little bit about that. What do you like? Like, you know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna ask you if you had a soul tie yet. I ain't gonna ask you that yet. No, you know what I'm saying? You got a soul tie?
I have another plug.
Okay,
so,
plug it in.
I wrote a book on soul ties.
I need that. Where's it at? On Amazon? Plug that too. Like, link gonna be in the description.
So the question was about
abstaining from sex.
About abstaining from sex, right?
Yeah.
And for certain seasons. And so I actually wrote a book in 2013. It's called Entangled. And lately, I've been getting a lot of questions.
Jada needs to pay you.
Okay, because she did not come up with entanglement. I did 7 years ago.
Okay, let them know.
So I wrote the book called Entangled. And in the book, I talk about soul ties. And I talk about holy and unholy soul ties. So it's strictly from a spiritual perspective.
Okay.
And I was in a season where I was processing all of the soul ties that I had in the past. So different relationships that I was in, what they were doing to me, how they were triggering me in different ways, like how they brought up things from my childhood that I didn't like,
that's real.
How they identified things about me that I didn't like. And I walk through and I talk about it, and I'm very candid, very transparent in the book. But I also talk about from a spiritual perspective, like what I learned about me and how I healed during that process, and what was important for me moving forward, like when I was going to date again. Absolutely. Or be in a relation, like have a relationship. And so, you know, the book ain't for everybody because it's a spiritual book. I'm gonna say that again. Yeah. And if you're not spiritual, or if you don't believe in God, or you don't want to believe in God, then you might think twice about the book. But if you want to grow closer to him, or you want to know how to heal from a spiritual perspective, some of that childhood trauma or relationship trauma is definitely, I was going to say I recommend it, but of course.
Yeah. Of course you're going to recommend. Plug yourself. She recommends it, so y'all better get it.
But I will say it's not just from my perspective, because I actually interviewed 5 women and 5 men, and they talk about their experiences with their relationships as well. And so I wrote it not really intending to help people. I wrote it as a way for me to release. Yep. Like it started out kind of like me journaling, and then it turned into a full-blown book. But it was actually very, very helpful, and I am so much better as a person.
That's what's up.
And I'm able to be more free and more confident in who I am as a person and in relationships,
right?
Because I know what I will and will not accept.
And I think even in that season that you were speaking about, when you do abstain, I think some people can be like, okay, I ain't have sex for 3 months. I ain't have sex for 6 months. But like in those 6 and 3 months, did you work on yourself? Like, so we don't know what those steps are. So like, what would be some steps that you would tell somebody? Like, give me like 2 steps that you would tell somebody. I know you said on your spiritual journey, these are the things you would do, like probably pray and read the Bible, or I'm not saying that it's easy, but like or give me just one thing. What's one tidbit you would do on that journey of abstaining from sex? What would you do?
Yeah, and so before I give the tip, I just want to say that for some people, abstaining can become a way to just like build clout with other people. Like, well, I ain't had sex in 3 months, so I'm good over here. And it's really like, why are you doing it? Like, are you doing it because you don't have a partner? Because some people are abstaining because they can't be with the person they want to be with.
Okay, hold on. What you mean? Hold on, what you mean? They can't, the one that they want, they can't be with, or you're just saying, okay.
Or like maybe they don't have somebody that they like right now, or maybe they are abstaining because they don't see somebody like worth their potential.
Okay.
Like, so they're like, well, I'm waiting for like this type of person.
For sure.
And in that time you're abstaining because you don't want to have casual, like meaningless sex, right?
Okay.
So that choice to abstain is for a very different reason than I'm going to abstain because I don't want to bring or accept baggage. Like, that's two different things.
That is definitely two different things.
So
sure.
You know what I'm saying?
And
so like, if you're going to be abstaining to like work on yourself and be a better person to your next relationship, the first thing I would say is you need to really take an inventory of who you are. So you need to ask people around you, like, when you think of me, like, who am I to you? Or what, I know it sounds like really cliche about what are my strengths and what are my weaknesses.
Yeah.
They always ask you in a job interview, but you need to know, because you need to go to your close friends, your family members, and be like, so when you think of me as a person, like, what are some things I need to work on? Or what are some things that really get under your skin that I could probably do better? Like, is it the way I talk to you? Is it the way, like, I react to certain situations? What are those things? How could I be a better friend, a better daughter, a better sister?
Yeah.
Because your close people should tell you. And then in that time, you can work on doing that work. Or if you know you have trauma, you've dealt with something as in the childhood, take that time to work on you and be better, because you can never really have a good long-term relationship with anybody until you have a good relationship with yourself.
That's it. That's the T. Because I was about to say, I mean, you really can't. If you don't work on that, if you don't work on yourself, it's really hard. Because like you said, with these triggers and things, you find yourself with the same trigger with a different person. So it's like, ain't nothing changed. And it's because you didn't. Yep. So that was good. All right.
Same
All right.
story,
Come on,
different
Ashley.
cast.
Come on. All right. Next one. How can I encourage my friends to get tested for STIs on a more consistent basis?
Just tell them.
Just tell them.
I mean, I think that there's ways to bring it up. Like, oh, so, when was the last time you were tested? Or let's go get tested together.
I like the let's go. Tell me that.
Yeah,
if y'all my friend, tell me let's go together.
Let's
I feel
go
like
together.
I've been with my friends. Yeah.
Yeah.
But tell me to go together. Don't tell me to get tested. I feel like you telling me I know this is immature, but you're telling me, I feel like you saying I'm dirty. Like, you need to go get tested, nigga. So let's just say let's get tested together.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
And honestly, you should be tested with, like I said, new partners.
You think every time?
Mm-hmm. Like with a new partner? Every new partner?
Yeah.
Yes.
Say you re-up. Like, say you bounce back to somebody that you
definitely, because they probably was with somebody else. Okay. Not definitely because they were with somebody else, but they could have been, and they may, if you don't have that relationship. Here's the thing. People will have sex a lot easier than they'll talk about sex.
See, but why?
I don't know. I don't know.
Like, I'm telling you, that group chat really made me sad. It was two of them. I'm just like, you know what I'm saying? I understand that people don't want to be, vocal about it, but we not being vocal about it as men together, and y'all are talking about us in the group chat. Like, that's it's really bothered me. You know what I'm saying? Because I just be thinking about some of the questions that women will call me and ask about, like, a sexual experience, and I always tell them on the phone, like, I could never, like, I feel so bad for him. But it's like, he clearly, you know what I'm saying? Does he care? Like, is he wondering these things? But do you think that it's hard, speaking on that, do you think that it's hard for a woman to be absolutely transparent with a man just based off his ego and things of that nature? Like, do you think it's the hardest thing to do?
I don't. But again, I've done so much work on me that I go into things very confident. So like, if you're not with the conversation or and it's not that if you say something or I bring up something and it makes you uncomfortable, I'm just going to walk away from the table. But because there's always going to be discomfort. But if you don't want to talk about it at all, why am I entertaining you? Like, you're not on my level. Like, and it's not even about that necessarily, but it should be like, you should really think about that. Like, your body should be something that you hold sacred to you. So if you're just like, if you are going into situations and you feel more comfortable talking about the type of sex you're going to have and where it's going to be and what we're going to do and all of that, but you're not comfortable asking them like, so when was the last time you were tested? Can I see a receipt? Like, you got a screenshot? Can I see the results? Like, I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. Like, why are we not proactive about that?
Right.
Like, we should be proactive about that. And if you don't have one, or it's been 6 months, like, well, we probably need to wait. Like, I think we should both go get tested. Let's report back when we got the results. And then we can have this conversation about if we're going to do X, Y, and Z.
So would you be comfortable, personally speaking, telling a man like, that didn't do anything for me. Like, this sexual experience was piss poor. Like, are you comfortable with saying that?
I am.
Okay.
But I haven't had to say that. So
okay, that's good then. You a lucky one. You're a lucky one. You put it next one. You lucky.
I would say it. I'm blunt. I recently found out that my man watches gay porn from time to time. Should I be concerned? Should you be concerned? I would say you could be concerned if you and him have never talked about sexual desires or sexual attraction, and most people don't, so you probably haven't had the conversation. But I would just ask him, like, I wouldn't confront and cause conflict by saying, what you doing watching this gay porn? That is not going to get him to open up to you and tell you why he's watching it. That is going to make him shut down. Okay. And he will never tell you. Right. What you should do is say, hey, babe, like, what type of stuff do you like to watch? What type of porn do you like to watch? Or let's watch porn together. And then see what he shows you and see what type of eye contact or non-verbals he's making, right? And if it comes up, then that's the opportunity to say, so why did you choose this? Or why are you watching this? Or what about this is interesting to you? What does this do for you? Because we have to really understand, I was having this conversation in the car on the way down, that sexual attraction is not the same thing as sexual orientation or the same thing as like who I want to have sex with. So someone could have sex with someone of regardless their gender, but not want to be in a relationship with them, like not be romantically attracted, or they may not identify with that sexual orientation. Got you. The other thing we don't talk about a lot is bisexuality for men. It is very
that's really not spoke like it's
more accepted for women to be bisexual. Like, I had sex with a girl, or I did this to a girl or to a woman. But I also have sex with men. But that is not a conversation that people have when it comes to men. And to me, that is very biased and very it's kind of like one-sided, like a double standard. Yep. And a lot of times we think double standards usually favor men, but this is one that does not favor men. And I think we should have more conversations around that, especially in the Black community, because bisexuality does not mean that I'm going to have sex with a man today and then tomorrow I'm going to have sex with a woman. That is not how bisexuality works. People choose at different points of time, maybe who they're attracted to and who they want to have sex with and who they want to be in a relationship with. Often people are not having sex with both genders at the same time. Okay. And if this person, this man who's watching gay porn, he may have some desires that he may never want to act out, but he still may have them. Okay. Like, women are attracted to women. Right. Like, you may see a girl and be like, oh, she got a cute butt.
Yeah, you can't be like, oh yeah, that nigga cute, girl. Like,
you know what I'm saying? And so like, but that doesn't mean that desire or maybe that attraction is there. He may never want to act. He may just be curious to know what it looks like. Or, so how do men have sex with men? Right. That does not, you can't make assumptions that just because they watch something like that means that they're interested or they want to do it. Okay. And he may. You got to be prepared for the answer. And so if you ask the question, be ready for the answer. Right. But don't make assumptions. So I would say just try to have a conversation with the person about it and see where that goes.
Okay. And speaking on like the men watching gay porn, so being like sexually, I guess you could say fluid. And so, okay, I have friends who they have spoke to men and the men is like, very straightforward. Like, I like for women to put their finger in my butt. You know what I'm saying? I like for girls to eat my ass. Like that. These are the things I like. How do you feel like women should be uncomfortable with talking about that? Because he is communicating. He's straight up. He's straightforward. Do you think?
I don't think that women should be should push that away or to shy away from those conversations, because that is a sexual desire that person is interested in. What we often do is we hear stuff like that and we be like, oh, he gay.
Right.
Immediately.
Immediately. When my friend told me, I was just like, he asked you what? Like, first of all, y'all met. I just don't, like, for me personally, that's like the first conversation he's having with you is that he wants you to put your finger in his butt. Like, that's it was just off to me.
Yeah.
Not saying it's wrong, but it was just off. So so for you personally, if a man asked you that, how do you think you would react, knowing all the knowledge that you know?
I mean, I think that for me, like, as a first conversation, that might be a little bit like turned off.
Yeah.
But I think like throughout the course of like getting to know the person or relationship, we're talking about sexual desires. I think that wouldn't necessarily like throw me off or anything, because like I said, the anus has a lot of nerve endings. So why is it okay for a man to say, or why is it not okay for a man to say, I would like, oral pleasure around my anus, or for you to stick your finger in my anus, but it's perfectly fine to say, eat the booty like groceries. It's perfectly fine to say, I want you to put your thumb in my butt. Like, why are those things, oral pleasure on any type of the body or anal play or whatever the case, why is it more acceptable for a woman to say, I want you to do this, but it's not acceptable? Like, the pleasure area and the nerve endings is the same. So if a man finds that pleasurable, that does not mean that he wants to receive, a dick in his butt. That does not mean that. That doesn't mean that he has done it in the past. It just means that he may have had a sexual encounter with another partner who was comfortable doing that.
Right.
Or they may have experimented and tried it once and he was like, oh, this actually feels really good.
Right.
And he's comfortable saying, this is what I like.
Right,
you should not push a person away from saying what they like. If you don't want to do that, then say, I'm uncomfortable doing that.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean you stereotype this man into saying, well, he must be gay, or he must have done this, or he must do that. We do that way too often.
Yes,
and that is giving males a bad rep. And it makes them not want to talk to people about their desires.
That's facts. Even though, I mean, honestly, personally, I think at this point in my life, I am uncomfortable with anybody, like with a woman going in that area. But at the same time, I get what you're saying, as that conversation should be able to be had.
Yeah, and some people are just more open, like, and that could change. You could get married or be with somebody for 5 years and be like, well, actually, I do like, and maybe we only do it once a month or once a year.
Well, my wife put her tongue in my ass and I like it. Yeah,
exactly.
Like, that's cool.
So, I mean, people are at different stages of how they view relationships and how they view what they're comfortable doing. But you can't knock somebody for being open about what they like, but then over here say, I support and I believe in empowerment of this group saying what they like. It's not cool. That's not equal.
All right. So how do you ignite the flame with your partner? You were kind of talking about this when we first got here. So how do you reignite a flame with your partner? Things is getting boring. Because I mean personally, it can get boring. After a while, 6, 7, not even 6, 7, 5, 4, 3, 2 years, it can be boring. So like, how do you, what do you suggest people should do?
I think that you should, try new things. Maybe, like some people will try to like, take a trip, because when you go to a new place and a new environment, it's not your same like home, your same room, your same couch, you're in a new environment. So things can be different. Okay. You're not in your shower. You could be in some, a hotel shower, So I would say go to a new environment. I would also say, plan romance around sexual encounters or sexual intimacy, because that can spice things up. I would say I'm always going to say this, know your partner's love language, because if you can ignite their love language, the 5 are quality time, physical touch, words of affirmation, acts of service, and gifts. If you can ignite one of those and make that lead to a sexual encounter, that would be very a good way. I
ain't never tried that. Hold on, what you mean? So like, say I like acts of service, maybe like what could be an example? Give me an example. Like,
so you like to receive acts of service?
Yeah, I do.
So your partner could do something for you, like around the house or for you, like a massage would be something that they're doing an act of service to you. Or if your partner knows that like you like, I don't know, your car to be like spot clean, and they like got your car cleaned for you, and you was like, oh, like, okay, like you did this for me, and then followed up with something romantic. Like, romance does not always have to be from the men.
Thank you. Let them know. Let these ladies know, Ashley.
And so you can do, like days of appreciation for your partner, like something spontaneous.
Days of appreciation. Have you done that before?
Yeah. So,
I like that.
like a random day, you can send your partner a gift or a note, or, I mean, y'all can live in the same place and they get mail and they checking it like, oh, this is just regular mail and it's from you, or y'all not live in the same area and you send them something, or you're like, oh, at 12 o'clock you need to go to this place and pick up X, Y, and Z, or have something delivered. Like, I know we don't talk about men having things delivered to them, but you'd be surprised how special and appreciated a man will feel if you went out of your way to do something for them, because a lot of times they go out of their way to do things for us and we don't always appreciate, or we don't always verbalize that. Or something simple like do their laundry because they got to go to work and they don't feel like it, because men don't always like to do laundry. Like, I feel like when you take things and make it not a I have to do it, I want to do it for you. I think those are ways to kind of spice up the relationship, change gender roles a little bit. So if you always cook and the other person does, like, just, you can do small things like that and they go a long way. Okay.
So to your point, I had to try to change some things up. I feel like, we always had sex in the bed. So then I just start going to the couch. You know what I'm saying? Or, I mean, it's going to be weird, but I went to the steps too. Like, I just feel like I needed something different. Like, I even want to be in your kitchen. So
go to the car.
Okay, that was high school for me though.
But I mean, like, drive somewhere. Yeah. Like, drive somewhere. Okay. Like, you can make it like kind of like if you like adventure. Yeah. Like, you can drive somewhere that you ain't supposed to be. Right. Or you can, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's very like, oh, where are we going? Oh, we just about to go to dinner somewhere, and then you end up in, some little school, alley, football, whatever, football field, what I'm saying? Like, I think that there are ways to do stuff that is new and exciting and fun. It doesn't have to be regular, but that one time could change the whole trajectory of the whole relationship. For like the next 6 months. So just be open.
Hey, listen to her, y'all. Listen to her, okay? I like that.
Let's see what we got. Okay. How does sex with others affect self-worth and value?
Oh, we kind of just talked about this.
Yeah, I think we kind of talked about this when it comes to soul ties and different relationships. Sex definitely can affect your sex worth, especially if your partner is enhancing that. So they're giving you, compliments. Maybe they're telling you things that they're proud of you about. So that's going to impact your self-worth. Now, that's really the person, not sex itself. But I think that sex itself, like the physical act of sex, it could affect your self-worth and your value negatively if you are having sex with people that you maybe aren't really connected to. Maybe you don't know them very well. That could impact your self-worth in a negative way. But I always try to make those negative things positive. So think about ways that, sexual encounters with people that would enhance your self-worth. And if you don't feel like your self-worth is being enhanced or your value is being enhanced, then maybe you should reconsider who you're having sex with.
So tell me this, when it comes to self-worth, do you think that somebody can feel value strictly through sex with no type of mental connection at all? You do?
I think so. I think certain groups, and I know that specifically for certain people, they need that because they maybe have experienced trauma, or maybe they have received negative messages their whole life. And so they may feel that when they have sex with a person, that person wants them, that person desires them, that person finds them attractive because they want to have sex with them. But we have to remember that just because someone has sex with you, those things are assumptions. We assume that they're attracted and they want to be with us and they like us and they need us. You need to ask, because they may not. They may just want to have sex. So you just have to be careful about the assumptions that you make that's attached to sex.
For sure. I ain't even going to ask for sure. All right, next one. Well, this is a good one. What are some ways to support a person with depression or anxiety?
Ooh, that is good. I've dealt with both of those. So let's see. Ways to support a person who deals with anxiety. So I deal with anxiety on a regular basis. I tend to call myself a high functioning anxiety person, meaning that you probably wouldn't know that I have a lot of anxiety because I perform really well when I am very anxious.
Got you.
And so because I perform really well, I'm able to kind of deflect my feelings into my work.
Okay.
And so that can be problematic because I am often not talking about the things that bother me.
Got you.
And that's usually an indicator that something is off.
Right.
But for people who are going through either long-term chronic depression or maybe like mild cases of depression, which I have also dealt with, I think the best way to support them is to, again, it's going to go back to their love languages, because for me, during that very dark period of time, my top 2 love languages are words of affirmation and quality time. So my friends, I had to be bold enough to tell them I was dealing with that. I'm glad
you said bold enough. It's hard sometimes.
It's hard to say, this is what I'm going through. I don't feel like myself. I don't want to get up. I don't want to leave the house. Right. I don't want to go out. And this is why. Yeah. You know, so I had to be very open and transparent with my closest friends to say, the last couple months ain't really been hitting it for me, and this is why. I went to therapy. They told me that I'm dealing with depression. And then they were very supportive. So they were like, well, what can we do? And I was like, honestly, I need to do this on my own. But the best thing you could do for me, because my love language is words of affirmation, is you can send me notes. You can write me letters. You can text me. You can send me cards. Absolutely. I need that empowerment, like, to tell me that I'm okay. Yeah. That's what I needed. Now, somebody else may need something else. They may need you to spend time with them. They may need you to come over and y'all not talk, but y'all just be in the same room. They may need to not feel alone. Okay. So it really just depends on the person. So I would ask the person, don't assume they need what you think they need. Just ask them, like, how can I support you? Or, hey, I was just thinking of you today. What's your mood today? How are you feeling today? Like, is there anything you need from me? In what ways could I maybe enhance your day? Yeah. And if they don't have an answer, they may just be glad you text them and checked up on them.
Facts.
You know?
Because I was going to say, sometimes, like you said, you were able to tell your friends like words of affirmation. Sometimes we don't even have anything to say. Like, I don't know what can help me right now, but just be there. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just having somebody present can change a lot of stuff. So I really fuck with what you said about that. Yeah. So we got 2 more. I'm going to read the last 2 for you. So how do you tell, how do you tell someone they have a small penis?
How do you tell someone
somebody they got a small penis?
That's kind of hard because I know, because like you don't want to hurt the person's feelings. Yeah. You know, like you don't want to be like,
I'm so weak. But they say it's the motion in the ocean though. So what you mean you don't want to hurt that? What do you mean?
Yeah, but but if they don't have any motion.
I'm sorry. Okay, so being a doctor, right, and being very, very sexually aware. Yeah. You see a small penis. What are you doing? Are you more prone to maybe try it because of the knowledge you have to know that, because like size don't matter, like we said that myth in the beginning of the show.
So hold on. I didn't say size didn't matter. I said.
Okay, what'd you say?
That, what was the question?
It was like something. No, it said bigger penis. The bigger the penis, the better, or something like that.
Yeah, the bigger the penis, the better sex, or something like that. Yeah, and I said that was false. Okay. Because the bigger could mean more pain. Right. Potentially, depending on the size of the vagina, right? It could be painful. Yeah. So that's what I said. I didn't say size doesn't matter. Okay.
Let's be clear.
I did not say that. So how would you tell someone? Mm-hmm. I mean, I think so. Number one, they probably already know that it's maybe not. I mean, they might already know. They may already be self-conscious about it because I mean they've lived in their body this whole time. They may have played sports. They may have interacted with other males, like. So they may already have some idea. Mm-hmm. So I would say you want to be you don't have to be delicate. Like you don't treat them like a child. Right. But I think I would say, why are you trying to tell them that it's small? Like, are you trying to tell them it's small because you weren't satisfied? Right. Yeah. Because you weren't pleasured? That's like the conversation.
Yeah, I would feel like
it wouldn't be about the body part. It would be, so when we were doing X, Y, and Z, it wasn't really everything that I was kind of looking for or hoping for. Yeah. Like maybe we can try something, like maybe you could ask them like if they're interested in introducing sex toys, because dildos come in different sizes.
Now that you said that, I mean, but I mean, as a man, like you telling me, so growing up, I didn't really think anything of toys. Like you didn't, not that I didn't have access, I just wasn't going to the sex store. So now, like, I don't mind a woman bringing a toy in, like a, what you call a bullet or something to put on her clit while we having sex or things of that nature. But I do know of men who are very like, it's a no for them. It's a non, like, we're not doing that. Like, we're not bringing that into the room. And so, like, how do you feel about that? Like toys. Do you feel like you should be able to be...
I think if people want to have... So at the end of the day, it all goes down to, what are you trying to achieve? Yeah. What is the goal here? Is the goal to have sexual pleasure? Is the goal to please your partner? Is the goal to receive, like, for your partner to please you? Like, that's what we need to be talking about here. Those are bigger conversations that people don't want to talk about. And they rather just go to the easy, well, I ain't like it because... his dick was small. Like, that's the easy way out. Yes. The harder thing is to say, I was not satisfied in this sexual encounter because of X, Y, and Z. That's a harder thing to say. It's easy to cop out and say, well, he blah, 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 or she blah, 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 blah. Like, that is not the way to be mature adults and have real conversations. Because the reality is as you get older, you're going to still be immature in the way you handle these conversations. So it is better for you to try to have the conversation around, what do you need to have a pleasurable experience? Okay. Like, if
because
you
the conversation be like, what do you need to come? So like
what do you need to come?
Yeah,
so it may not be. So back to this question, like if the person has a small penis and that penetration for you is not enough for you, then
what do you do though? Like, what can a man do? What can he do if he?
So there can be oral pleasure.
Yes. Now, okay,
because
so
a woman
can come that.
from a woman can come from that.
They said like most time if a man is, if he eating you out a lot, or like that's like his go-to. Not to say he doesn't enjoy it, but most times it's like a man that is probably lacking in other areas. That's what I've heard from women.
And that could be the case, but does it matter? Like if you're getting the pleasure that you need and you're feeling satisfied at the end of it, does it matter?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
That's true, that's true.
So I feel like, again, you have to kind of go to the root of like, what are you trying to get out of it? If your goal is to come and he can make you come from oral sex and maybe like vaginal fingering, then do that.
Yes.
And have that be your go-to.
Right.
Because at the end, you're going to be satisfied.
Facts.
And you're not going to be like, oh, that was whack. You know what I'm saying? Like, go to what works for you. And if that's what works for you, tell him, like, I like this more often.
Facts.
And we should do this more often. We can still do that, but let's make sure that we do this every time.
Make sure you get me off first before we even get to
what I'm saying? Like, I feel like that's the conversation.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, last one, Miss Ashley. Why can't most women oftentimes achieve an orgasm during sex? I think that's a good one to end off on. Why can't women achieve an orgasm?
So I have been talking about this orgasm gap. So read my orgasm gap article on my page or on the Pure Romance
Another
website.
self-plug.
So I wrote an article, I think maybe last month, about the orgasm gap between men and women. And there's like a 30% gap. So 95% of men who are heterosexual say that they typically achieve an orgasm during sex. Only about 65% of heterosexual women say they do. And I think that a lot of it has to do with the fact that a woman's body needs to be stimulated for a lot longer during excitement. Okay. So we think about sex, and I don't think of it like as this foreplay, sex, orgasm. I don't think of sex in those three categories. I think of sex as like you're getting excited and ready for sex, and then you're enjoying sex, and then maybe a partner receives achieves an orgasm or not. Okay. So I think that for women, they don't spend enough time with their partner, whether their partner is male or female, in that excitement phase, like leading up to the sexual encounter. And so that's why they don't actually reach an orgasm, is because they didn't spend enough time getting excited, getting their body ready for it. Like our body.
So you're speaking of like kissing on the neck, sucking titties, something like that?
Yeah, those things. But also the clitoris and the inside of the vagina, in order to produce lubrication, it has to like receive, like the body has to prepare itself for sex. So so there's not a lot of time in that process. What normally happens is if a person sees that the woman is starting to lubricate and get wet, then they're like, let's go.
Let's get it, yeah.
And that person's body may not actually be ready. They may actually need more time, because once you hit, so there's So the body goes from like arousal and excitement, and then it goes to a plateau phase before orgasm.
Got you.
And when you're in the plateau phase, sometimes the body does not continue to make lubrication for some women, not all women, but sometimes the body is like very satisfied where it's at. Yeah. That's why it's called the plateau. Okay. And so the body may not produce lubrication at the same level as it did at the beginning.
And so women start thinking they're getting dry.
Exactly. And then it could, and so then if the male can feel that,
yeah, we do.
Then they may just go ahead and come, and then the woman doesn't. Yeah. Or if the woman or whoever says like, you know, like, are you about to come? Like, what's going on? Yeah. Because they may feel it in themselves and they don't want it to be painful, because once the vagina is not lubricating like it was, then it becomes dry in there. And then those, the tissue inside the body, like that friction is starting to become painful. So they're like, can we hurry up and get this over with?
But then by the time y'all snapping at me telling me, come on, hurry up, it's over with, now I'm low key. Now I went from I don't know if we have a plateau phase, but I went from my phase and I'm back down. I'm back to the beginning, because now I feel like it's uncomfortable for you. Yeah. So that's really good.
So I would say in those moments, so first spend more time in the excitement phase. Okay. So spend more time stimulating the clitoris. One thing or two things that you can add in or just have on standby would be have some lube on standby.
Like the water base and stuff like that?
Yeah, because if the body does start to feel that, you can add the lubrication and it will increase pleasure for both of you. Okay.
You know what, women don't like that though. They be feeling like you call
because here's the thing. Women have to stop thinking that something is wrong with you if you need to use lube. Okay. Lube is there to enhance the experience. Gotcha. Okay. There are also enhancement gels that can provide like tingling sensations or cool and warm sensations. Like you can use those things to enhance, like in the middle of while you're having sex. And those things are specifically made to enhance, because what you don't want is for you to endure a short term, like at the end of a painful experience, and then now the next day you're sore. You may pee out a little blood, like you're spotting. Like women don't talk about that with their male partners after the fact. They just deal with it. Okay. There may be tearing on the inside, so they may need a couple days to recover. Like women don't talk about that, but y'all know what I'm talking about because y'all have all experienced it, because you didn't want to speak up and say something. Yeah. And rather than deal with that, you can just say like, oh, well, let's just have some lube on stand. And you don't even have to tell them you have lube. Like, just have it. And then in the moment, if you need it, be like, hold on, I got that, my dog. Yeah, grab that real quick and just put that on top of you. Like, or let me just get a little bit. Yeah. And then like you just have it, because so many people endure painful experiences when they don't have to, all because they're afraid to bring it up.
I mean, I do think it is very uncomfortable, especially in the moment, because there's been times where I would continue having sex, even though I kind of know like she really drying up. So it's really starting to hurt me too. Like I've left sexual encounters when my meat is raw, like because I continued to have sex knowing it was dry.
And you should never have like painful sex. Yeah. Like you don't have to. You don't have to.
But if you feel like you got to in the moment,
you don't have to. You can stop for a second. Yeah. And just do that, because you can even tell that the person's not into it anymore.
Exactly. Like the moans start changing. I'm like, oh, dang, she ain't even moaning no more. Like now I'm insecure. Tell. Like, nigga, what is my dick doing? So yeah.
You can tell. Yeah, and so like, why do that? Like it's not supposed to end that way. It's not supposed to be that way. So why continue to do it? Right. All because of what? Because you don't want to buy lube, because you don't want to use lube.
Yeah, you don't want to fuck you dry.
That doesn't make sense. Yeah. Like everybody does not have a WAP 24/7. I'm sorry. They don't. They don't. They don't. Like we just what.
But everybody think they got that WAP though.
They don't. They don't. They don't. And even if you achieve like a wet, like
yeah. Slippery and wet, y'all.
All of that. Even if you experience that, it may not be like that every single time you have sex for the whole time that you're having sex. And so you need to just be aware of your body and like don't be self-conscious about it. Like it is what it is. Like have lube on standby just in case. And you can actually make lube exciting because there are flavored lubes. Yeah. And so you can be like, oh, well, let's stop for a minute. Let me put this on the tip real quick.
Let me put a little strawberry on it.
Yeah, let me just do that. And so it's like a little bit of pleasure for him, a little bit of pleasure for you. Yeah. Since we're talking about heterosexual relationships, like you can make it more than just oh, I need it because my body may do X. You cannot always control what your body's going to do in the moment, but why punish yourself by having a horrible ending to a very good beginning?
And now you in the group chat talking about me because we didn't continue to have sex.
You know, like that's not like, to me, that is unnecessary drama, unnecessary pain,
energy, because now I'm dealing with I'm feeling like I walked away feeling like my shit weak, and now I gotta deal with that, because that's the whole thing too.
And it has nothing to do with you.
Oh, but you be thinking it got something to do with you, so you gotta walk away.
You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
And another thing too is like sometimes what probably needs to happen is when someone is starting to feel like less pleasure, like what you probably should do is stop and ask the person like, well, what is it that you need me to do to help you like relax, or to help you like, you know, get back into that moment, because at that moment, what that person may need is like maybe more oral stimulation or more, you know, clitoral stimulation.
Sometimes I just need to lay down for a minute. Like,
catch your breath.
Yeah, and
then like, let's get back into it. Like, I think people are always trying to rush sex. Like, why are you trying to rush something that's supposed to be pleasurable?
Yes.
Like, again, what are you trying to get out of it?
Right.
Are you trying to just do it to say you did it today? Like, why? Like just take a 5-minute pause. Yeah. Like just chuck it up and say, okay, that was round 1. Let's come back to round 2 and like finish. Like, I don't think that you have to, it doesn't have to be this like linear process where like you start, you end, and that's it. Like you can mix it up and make it exciting and fun, and there can be ups. I don't want to say downs. There could be pauses. There could be ups and pauses. There could be ups and pauses. And I don't think anything's wrong with that.
Okay.
And I think that we need to just maybe rechannel how we think about sex, because stop watching what the media and what movies show you and what songs tell you, because
it always goes down.
They
in the movies,
are entertainers.
Okay? Yeah,
this
it always
is
goes down.
Like, movies are fiction. Like they are something that someone wrote. Like songs that you hear about how they did X, Y, and Z, they're saying that as entertainment to you to make money. Like, that is not always how things happen. Porn is fake.
I'm about to say porn can even have you feeling like you're not doing what you need to do.
Yeah, because it is a script. It is part of a industry to make money. It is not to teach you how to have sex.
Okay. Because, you know, growing up, I used to look on it for the position.
A lot of people do. And I mean, and that's fine if you want to use it for that. But the way that the body reacts to things on film, do you know how many times they have a take just to make that? How many times they edit it just to make that? Like, you're not even thinking about that.
Yeah, I've never thought about an edit. Like, I just thought it was all the way through. I mean, I knew it was like, you know, the moans be fake sometimes and all that stuff, but I didn't know they was... Hey, let's
it's
take
a movie.
Yeah, it's like,
Don't you think regular movies are like that? Yeah. It's when you watch a movie, you don't see all the times they messed up the
I just can't imagine
the words.
Fourth take on the sex. Like, that's low key weird.
It's a movie.
Yeah.
I mean, just how you see, like, you know, like I joke about, I love comedy. So like when you see like Rush Hour or something on TV and at the end they say all the bloopers, that is what other movies are like.
Facts.
So you cannot assume that just because you saw this clean edited version of some movie or some porn video or whatever, that is what real sex looks like. No, it's not.
But see, that's why, because me included, we're not having these conversations, which is why I thought it was so important for you to come on, okay? And I really do appreciate you for coming on, Ashley. So I'm gonna have you go ahead and plug yourself. So go ahead, all the soft plugs that you had during the show, plug them right now. So you got a book, don't forget nothing, the book, the blog, all of that, plug it now.
Yeah, so you can follow me on Instagram. My Instagram handle is dr.ashleytowns. I don't really use any of my other social media like that. But I do use Instagram pretty often to share like any of my research articles and of my pure romance articles. I do have a link tree in my bio on there that has all of the stuff that I talked about. So my book, Entangled, I have, which you can find on Amazon and Barnes & Noble's websites.
And Jada need to pay you too. We'll talk about that later. Like, she gotta give you a check.
But yeah, feel free to contact me. I am very candid and open to having like sexual health conversations with people. Don't be trying to be down in my DMs trying to holler at me, because I am not interested in those types of encounters.
Niggas about to holler though.
Okay,
you know, for
not on the market or looking for anybody.
We love to hear it.
I'm good on that.
Okay.
I'm very good where I'm at. So Don't slide in my DMs for that. But if you do have questions, men, women, whoever, however you identify, definitely open to answering your questions.
Thank you. So I got 2 pins for you. You know what I'm saying? This is a part of the merch, okay? Slogan on one and then my logo on the other one. Yes. So y'all really appreciate you coming on. Hey, y'all, like I said in the beginning, the website dropped. If y'all follow me on social media, the website dropped. Always remember, bro, on Thursdays, we be having Talk Your Shit Thursday. So it's like a little live thing I do for about an hour or 2. So tune into that. Follow me on all the social media. So I got Instagram, Twitter. I don't got a link tree. I'm gonna work on a link tree because I like how you was like, just go to my link tree. I like that. So I got the Instagram prescribedr_, and then my Twitter is prescribedr. Also, I'm about to start plugging the website too. So the website is www.prescribedwithdr.com. So check that out for merch, episodes, literally everything. And then Miss Dr. Towns, you have anything else to end off with? Want to end off with anything?
I don't. I'll just say happy Sexual Health Month. So
period.
Be safe, everyone.
All right, y'all. So, you know what I'm saying? This is Prescribed with the Realest, where we say the things your friends won't say and your man gonna lie about, and we're out.